Now, earlier I was actually visiting my mom's resting spot, and I really don't want to put her headstone on camera, but I do know that I need to talk about her, and I need to give her just dues. You see, my mother was a wonderful woman. As much as she had her mental illness like I do, she had her times, but yet she was creative. It's where I got the artistic part. Was a wonderful ceramic teacher, wonderful artist, wonderful sewer, great cook. It's probably where I get all the artistic skills from. And she was heavy into horror stuff. Like, she's the reason I got into the horror movie scenes. It wasn't my dad. It wasn't POD. It was her. I remember sitting there watching the first Dracula with her, and also watching Dark Shadows with her. And now I work at a place where they film the front of Dark Shadows, which is kind of cool. And my mom would be really jealous right now and asking me to get inside that mansion, which I could do. But there's more to that story. You see, my mom, she has a very unique headstone, if you get to see it. Now, the guy that carved it did not do a good job. Someday I'd like to save up the money and give her a better stone. But my mother was the first captain in the artillery company of Newport that was a female. Not only that, but she was the first female adjutant general in the Newport Artillery Company. You say big deal. I mean, the Newport Artillery Company is an old unit. It is a very old unit. It's the oldest continuing militia under its original charter. Now, I say militia and people freak out. No, not militia. No, these are honorable militias, and this militia never converted to becoming a National Guard, where a lot of the other militia units, they did. They still can get activated. A lot of people think just because you're in the militia, oh, it's a volunteer fun thing. It is a volunteer fun thing, but you still got to follow the state's charter. You still got to follow the rules and regulations of the National Guard and the general. You still have areas where you're inspected in uniform, and if the proverbial poop hits the fan and this area gets attacked, they get enlisted. It's just like a volunteer firefighter unit. They get enlisted for stuff like watching roads, working desks, doing whatever that's necessary that doesn't take away from soldiers being out on the battlefield. So they are 100% enlisted. The last time the artillery company in Newport was enlisted, though, was over 100 years ago. So thank God it hasn't happened now. But if the Civil War sparks out, we never know. My mother was very honorable with that stuff, though. And she did a great job. Not only did she run the artillery company, she ran countless Civil War reenactments out of Fort Adams. She did a wonderful job organizing that stuff. She was a great woman. I miss her a lot, especially now. This is the haunted season, and also, bah humbug, it's around the corner. But my mother and I had a weird relationship. We were close, but there was always, it almost seemed like summertime. She didn't like it. She didn't like the humidity out here, and she'd get mad at me. She could be mad at me for the full summer, and then the minute October came back around, it's hugs and what do you want to do, and how do you want to do this, and I tell you, she tried really hard to stick around when she found out that I was going to have a daughter. And she actually passed a month before my daughter was born. I do think that they possibly did cross paths, and I know that she's keeping an eye on them right now. That's why she's not really around me. She's going to make sure that those girls are safe. My mom would have coddled and spoiled the living crap out of those two. I know life is not fair, but I lost her too young. It's not fair. There's a lot of times the last couple years where I wish I had my mother. It's something as, you guys take it for granted, but something as warming as a motherly love hugging you. telling you everything is going to be okay when you know deep down inside things really aren't okay. And I mask it pretty well, but things aren't okay. They're getting better, slowly, crawling, but things aren't okay. Before I started this silly project, I really had nothing going for myself. I was homeless, fighting for food, still am fighting for food, by the way, and I was trying to find an easy way out. And not to get dark, but last February, almost did. It didn't happen, and I'm here now. But sometimes I wonder if it had happened, would she have met me? Because when I did technically KO for a little bit, all I saw was black. So I don't understand. Maybe I wasn't out long enough to ascend, or possibly that would have been my penance for doing what I did. I would have been stuck in blackness. Maybe that's the purgatory. I don't know. All I know is I really miss her, and I wish my mom was around. And my mother is a female hero to Rhode Island and the militia units. She'll always be in the history books too. She'll go down as the first captain and adjutant general in a militia unit that is over 200 years old. Hats off, Mom. I love you and miss you.